I've been thinking a bit about something else too. You usually say that when you don't do something, you're either scared or you just don't want to.
Yeah.
I have one bad habit that really has consequences.
Okay.
It's that I tend to go to sleep too late. I know that it's decreasing my output capacity potential. I really want to change it. At least I believe so on a conscious level. Why do you think this is, and how can I figure it out myself?
Why does he go to bed too late?
Right, because I think it doesn't fit the paradigm of, if you want to do something, it's because
Yeah.
um,
You either
yeah. So you're saying, why do I, what do you think this is? Or how can I figure it out myself?
well, what do you so you have in your calendar, right? To go to bed at whatever time, right? What time have you told yourself consistently that you want to go to bed? Let's workshop this, Eldane. What time? At night. You say, I want to go to bed at, this is your goal.
El Dane said, I'm usually in a really great flow at those late hours. I recall thinking that I wasn't tired anyway, so I might as well get some more work done.
Okay.
Last night reflection.
So now you need to dissect how much of that is actually true. How much of that is you are better late at night, you are in flow, and it's actually productive for you to be up. And if that's the case, then you adjust your morning schedule so you sleep in. If you get more work done, you don't have to be waking up at 5 a.m. every day. It's not about it's not about when you wake up. It's about how productive you are when you're awake. So how much of that is actually true versus you just telling yourself that at night? And think consistently, right? Not just last night, but think consistently now. How much of that is actually true? Do you actually work better at night and you like it with everything's quiet and you maybe should be staying up till 4 in the morning every day and then sleeping in? Versus, no, that's not actually true. I just convinced myself in the moment.
El Dane says, I often got classes in the morning. I do think it is true, at least to a good extent. I'm much more focused than during the day. If it wasn't for the classes, I'll just adjust the morning, like you said.
Well, that's already some good awareness. Now you got to decide how many days a week do you have classes? Can you have a split schedule? Do you even have to show up to classes? Can you learn from the book?
I could definitely study it on my own, but we're both evaluated for our assignments and also a verbal grade. So the verbal grade wouldn't be good if I don't show up.
Okay. So now back to your original question. Is it because you don't want to do it or because you're afraid? Well, you don't want to do it. Like you don't want to wake up early to go to class. You don't like it. That's the problem. So, but if you have to, then you deal with it until you're done. Right? It's like, can you control it? What are the alternatives? Are you going to study on your own? Are you going to quit school? Like you don't have that many options. So what are you going to do? But long term, you know that you can't be in this kind of role. You're not going to be a career student. Like career student in life, but not a career student where there's morning classes. So if you can't control the immediate, then now you do difficult things. And you schedule accordingly. So even though you know you're going to be better at night, you're going to end up having a worse grade. So you got to wake up and go do the thing if it's important to you.
He said, do you think you can make yourself want to by reflecting on the consequences? The answer is yes.
I don't think so, man. This is you do difficult things. You have to do it. You don't want to do it. The way out is not appealing. Like you don't want to leave school unless that is the actual option. So now you just have to deal with it.
But isn't it still true that you can make yourself do things when you reflect on the consequences? Because people do a lot of stuff out of fear. There's like just the fear of loss, the fear of the consequences or the punishment of it. It's like, okay, I got to get this done because I don't want to fail. So I got to get this term paper in. Even though they wait till the last minute, I've done it before too. Where it's like, okay, he told you 3 months ago the term paper was due, and you wait till the last 3 days to get it done.
The problem
You don't want to
if
get an F.
it's just a brain exercise to try to will yourself to do it, your brain will let you down. You can only force yourself to do something you don't like for so long.
Right,
So if you're relying on pumping yourself up to say, no, it's important, like if I don't do this, X, Y, Z.
So you just train yourself to do difficult things, period.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Take the brain out of the equation. I do difficult things. This is hard. I'm going to bed. I hate it. It sucks. And I have to do it. I do difficult things. Let's go. I had this conversation with Mark Drager on our podcast, and I told him the exact same thing. He's like, no, I'll just convince myself. I'll tell myself that I've done hard. I've done this before. I've woken up before that time. I can do it. So he was doing, his version was running on a treadmill, and he's running, and he's being pushed around on a treadmill, and he wants to quit. He wants to get off the treadmill. He's getting tired. His legs are turning to jello. He wants to get off this treadmill, and he's trying to convince himself that no, I've done stuff like this before, trying to be logical and rational, and like it just made things worse. And then he just, I think he yelled something, but basically, I do difficult things, and and that was it. And then he did it.
Wow.
Because the logical reasons aren't enough. You just don't like it. You don't like it. You don't want to be there. That's the problem. You don't want to be there. And no matter how much you convince yourself, you still just don't want to be there. So instead, you got to tie it to something else, which is your self-worth for following through on difficult things.